Hello, friends. I'm Andrea Morris, and welcome to another edition of Spill the Wine, our podcast, which by now you know is about wine. And today we're at a place that is one of the older wineries on the Bench area, and one of a place that I love to come to, particularly for the view and for your bubbly. It's Peninsula Ridge. And I have been trying to get Sean Palmer, our head winemaker here on the podcast since May.
Since Cuvée, I think.
Since Cuvée, yeah. And finally, it's happening.
Yep.
And I'm also very happy to welcome Norm Beal, the owner, to the podcast as well.
Nice to see you, Andrea.
Nice to see you, Norm. Thank you so much for making the time to be here today. Now, I referenced that Peninsula Ridge is one of the older wineries in the area. What year did you open as a winery?
We opened in August of 2000. We broke ground, planted the vineyards in 1999. And one of the earliest boutique VQA wineries, of course, but there's some old guys around there, Cave Springs and Chateau de Charmes, and of course we can always go way back to Don Zeraldo and Enniskillen. So they've been around a little longer than we have, but 25 years, 26 years is a long time for an Ontario winery these days.
No kidding. Were there grapes on the property when you bought it?
No, it was all abandoned orchard, primarily cherries, pears, apples, and those we ripped all of those out and replanted it all with vinifera.
And did you do your research beforehand and know that this was great land for grapes before you bought it?
Just in my discussions with smart people, smarter people than I, back in the day, like Paul Boss Sr. and Len Penichetti at Cave Spring, we knew this was going to be a very viable site for planting vinifera. Really good airflow off the escarpment, strong temperature inversions in the really most important times when you need it, when we have cold air moving down from the north. So very close to the lake here. We're only a kilometer from Lake Ontario. That helps a lot. We've seen that very recently where we had this cold spell in the last several days, and being close to the lake has probably helped by about 2 or 3 degrees.
That's great. It's interesting that you mentioned, being close to the lake and how that really helps warm the property, because most people would think being close to the lake it would be colder, but it's not the case because of the bench.
Well, actually, the lake provides kind of a cooling mechanism for us this summer. We have a lot of aromatic whites planted, both here on our other property, Pinot Noir, and actually very, very hot. The very hot days in the middle of the summertime, hot humid days, we get a moderation effect on the cooling side here on this property. So that helps with a number of those varieties.
And what was the first grapes that you planted here?
We planted, of course, Chardonnay, Merlot, Cab Sauv, Cabernet Franc in a small block of Syrah. We've since then ripped out some Merlot when we had the super cold spell back in 2014, did a lot of vine damage. So we took out about half of the Merlot we had at the time and replanted that with Riesling.
Gotcha.
A little more winter hardy.
Right, because it's a cold climate grape, so yeah. And how many acres do you have?
The site here in its entirety is about 80 acres, of which about 40 acres are planted.
Wow. And I should mention, listener, that when you come to the winery, if you're in the area and you're staying overnight, you should definitely make plans to have dinner here because you have an absolutely spectacular restaurant on site as well.
Yeah, the restaurant's pretty special. It really ties into the history of the property, and the history of this property is really remarkable. It was originally settled in 1790 by a United Empire loyalist by the name of William Kitchen, and his grandson, Dennis Kitchen, built the Queen Anne Revival Victorian house that the restaurant's housed in, and that was built in 1885. So it's really a special place in terms of its place in Ontario history as well.
That's amazing. And the restaurant's open all year, right?
Yeah, we close it for about 2 weeks every January just to kind of give it a bit of a sprucing up. But other than that, we're open Wednesday through Sundays, closed Mondays and Tuesdays, and Sundays for Sunday brunch only.
Oh, nice. You do have lunch in the summertime too, don't you?
We do lunches Wednesday through Sunday, yeah.
Great, yeah, because I've had lunch and dinner here.
Yeah. And we host a lot of corporate functions, small weddings, that sort of things here as well.
It's a beautiful place for a wedding because the scenery is spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, all really, really nice. Full stop. And again, listener, if you're here and you just don't want a full lunch, they have a lot of cheese on site too.
Yes, absolutely.
We do. We try and specialize in local artisanal products, not only just cheese, but other things. We are always looking for local suppliers whenever we can find them. We bring stuff in from Quebec as well. Really Canadiana, sort of in the specialty foods side of the business. And we're always looking for new stuff every day and kind of rotate things through. We have specialty honeys. We have all kinds of really fun things to nibble away on or take home with you.
Oh, yeah. I've taken home cheese from here as well, see? And Sean, how long have you been here at Peninsula Ridge?
This was my 16th harvest, this past one, yeah.
That's incredible.
How time flies when you're having fun.
It does. Yeah, no, it's been amazing. Very lucky to, drive up that drive like you had mentioned every day and, call this my home away from home, right?
Yeah. What's your favorite wine to make here?
Well, I mean, going back on what you guys were just discussing about, the culinary side, I've always had this idea and passion of, wine and food together. So it's kind of difficult. It's a difficult question to answer, to be honest with you, because there's always that, the food pairing or where is the destination of this particular wine going with regards to, that kind of culinary side.
Now, do you think about that when you're making the wine?
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in Ontario, we're blessed with a different vintage every year. So, I mean, you have to be, somewhat flexible, but you take the best of what you've been given. And there's always kind of that, that foodie side of you that kicks in during, fermentation process all the way through to bottling.
Does that kick in when you're thinking about more mass production for for supermarkets and for Costco and things like that?
I don't know. Not so much, I don't think, Norm.
No, I mean, we have a style that we pretty much try to stick to regardless. Vintages is fluctuations. Sean says that makes it kind of a wonderful experiment every time. Every vintage is different, allows us to express ourselves in different ways, but we do try to stick to a style that is unique, we think, to Peninsula Ridge. That is a cool climate style, actually, not to say unique to our own terroir, and unique to the Niagara Peninsula. So that style is really our overwhelming theme, as is Sean's out in the winery making wine. And we played with the nuances of that each vintage delivers for us. So no, we don't specifically try and target wines for a particular grocer or a grocery market. No, our style is really unique to Peninsula Ridge.
Are you guys in Costco now?
We are in every of the major grocery chains and convenience. I think we're the number 4th or 5th supplier of VQA wines to the grocery channel in the LCBO.
That's incredible. Because Sean and I were kind of having a little discussion earlier, and we were talking about how it's such a thing in the States, but we never thought it would happen in Canada.
Yeah, no, it certainly has had a remarkable impact on VQA wine market share in a very, very short period of time. These wines were introduced with what they call the retail modernization. The expansion happened in October of 2024. Peninsula Ridge and other wineries really that were positioned well for grocery, their sales overnight doubled. And then, of course, we had Premier Ford restrict the sale of American products in March of 2025 as a result of these trade challenges we're experiencing. That's just added to the demand for VQA. And the great news about that is that a lot of customers that would have not normally come and tried VQA wines have now gone out there, they've done some experimentation, realized that we make probably the best cool climate Chardonnays in the world. And why would you go to a hot climate of, California Chardonnay when you can have these phenomenal, beautiful, cool climate Sauv Blancs, cool climate Chardonnays, Pinot Grigios. So I don't think we'll never really give back, I think, those market share gains, even when they do return, these American products to the shelf. So it's an exciting time for the industry.
It's nice for people to actually be trying Chardonnays that aren't as buttery as a California Chardonnay, and to really get the nuances from the Chardonnays, from the different appellations here, because it's all so different from one vineyard to the next.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very site selective at times. And over the years, we've really come to learn the land a lot better, especially as winemakers and viticulturalists. One thing here at Peninsula Ridge is I like to think of it as, a kind of a non-intervention winemaking style that we have here. So we very much respect the land. And, as a winemaker, my job truly is to be somewhat of a facilitator, for Mother Nature, to kind of get those expressions, those characteristics and everything that the grapes are trying to tell us a story and get that into the bottle.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And after 16 years of being here, I'm sure you know the land pretty well.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
So what are we going to start with today, folks?
Okay, so I thought we'd start off with one of our kind of funner wines, I think, is a Tiny Bubbles, and it's our sparkling rosé wine that is sold through the LCBO. This is our third year, I believe, and it's really, I think the approach of this wine is to be friendly and easy drinking.
And I always think it's fun to start a tasting with bubbly.
I do too, yeah. It's a good palate cleanser and kind of gets your palate excited for what's to come as well.
Yeah, it's got that tiny little bit of skin contact on it and smells lovely and tastes great too.
Yeah, not too sweet. Again, going back to the culinary side or the food side, it's something that can go pair quite nicely with oysters and some of those shellfish or seafood if you like.
And soft cheese.
Yes, true. Yeah.
Since you have it on site.
That's right.
Yeah. How much does this retail for?
$18.95. So
nice.
It's very reasonable price for sparkling.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. An under $20 bottle of sparkling is always a bonus.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's
very popular,
really nice.
And it's been a real hit. Sean's done a brilliant job, I think, making this, and really a fun wine, right? You got to break out every once in a while, not get too serious, and really do something just for a few giggles. And that's what Tiny Bubbles is all about. It's a very, very well-made wine, but really one you can have some fun with.
I really enjoyed the finish on it for sure, especially when we were making the base for this. It, you try to, you get to the bubble side, but it's really important to also be able to, like I said, let the vineyard express itself too through,
We're off to a good start.
Well, thank you.
We do have a rosé in front of us as well.
Yeah, so then the second wine that I thought we'd try is our 2024 Beal Vineyard Cabernet Rosé. Again, not going too far on the sugar scale, so trying to keep it, to the drier side. Because of the Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon vineyard that we have here on site, has such beautiful, expression with the dark fruit, but keeping it friendly and fun as well at the same time. I find it very easy drinking as well.
This is an exciting wine. This is an estate bottled rosé. As Sean said, Cabernet Franc is the varietal we use. That's right at the back of our vineyard, right up against the escarpment. And I just think Cabernet Franc makes the best rosé. It's
me too. An
expression of all kinds of different fruits. Very, very predominant strawberry in that wine. And that's a fun wine. Again, another fun wine that's very easy drinking, but also an excellent wine that you can pair with all kinds of different foods.
Absolutely, yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, when I started off in the wine industry, I kind of turned my nose to the rosés and that sort of thing. And now I've come to realize the versatility of a rosé is actually incredible. And if you do it right, you're able to, venture into different, go on different adventures, basically.
Well done, Sean. What did you find 2024 is a year for grapes? Because a lot of people in this area said that's going to be one of the best years next to 2020.
Until 2025 came along, that's right.
Exactly.
25 is going to be remarkable, particularly for red wines. And sorry, Sean,
that was kind of for both
I think
of you.
24 was a great year. I just think it was probably a little more challenging for you, wasn't it?
I don't think so. No, I think, we're not going to go back to 2021, that's for sure. But no, after 21, I think, and I've heard from other winemakers also on your podcast mention that, we have challenging years, but yeah, some of us still have PTSD from that 2021 vintage. No, 24 was a fantastic year. But like Norm said, 25 is really the year now that everyone's extremely excited about. And of course, we had 2020 and 2022, which were also lovely years as well. So we've been quite lucky for Niagara, especially over this past, half decade or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Yeah, that's
excited
for
because
sure.
this is a 25 that we're tasting.
It is, yeah. We were able to produce and have our 3 of our wines on the shelf basically for Christmas this year from 2025, and I'm not too sure if we were alone on that one.
No,
Wow.
I don't think so.
Just with supply demand and Ontarians just loving Ontario wines and taking that leap, which has been wonderful. But this wine, is very exciting. It's one of our staple wines. We are lucky, I'm fortunate very much to be able to source Sauvignon Blanc grapes from multiple sites in the Niagara region. And as a winemaker, when you have that opportunity, especially with regards to terroir, you're able to get a lot of those really interesting notes and nuances that, like I said, Mother Nature provides you, and play a bit of that blending game with different, with the same variety, but from different terroir and sub-appellations.
Yeah, no, this is a spectacular wine. Sean has just done an absolutely brilliant job with this wine this year. I think it's one of the best Sauv Blancs we've made in, I don't know, almost since the beginning. Peninsula Ridge has always been a leader on the Sauvignon Blanc front. We'll talk about that a little bit when we get into the Fume. But for 26 years, we've been making Sauv Blanc really out in front of most other people. And it's our number 1 seller. We sell more Sauv Blanc than any other varietal. And like I say, the 2025 vintage, I got to remember, I got to tell you, the first time I tried it, when I finished wine in the bottle, I was just blown away and amazed, given it's really a very young wine, as Sean had mentioned. We got this into a bottle very, very early because, frankly, we had run out. We were stocking out all our major customers because our demand has just been so big. Recently over the course of the last year. So really excited about this. This Sauv Blanc, I think it's certainly going to be an award winner as we get it entered into different competitions, around the world. And Sean's just done a brilliant job with it.
It's got that beautiful stone fruit to it that I love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Ontario.
Yeah.
I mean, we're very, very lucky. Some of my friends, colleagues, and peers, we always try not to do comparisons, but we're not New Zealand, right? We're not South Africa. We're Ontario, and we should be very proud of the Sauvignon Blanc that we can make here. And I think the industry's done very well.
I think so too. And I recently did a tasting of Sauvignon Blancs from New Zealand, and I have to say that I really prefer the cool climate over the warm climate.
We're not just stuck with a fruit-driven wine. We've also got the herbaceousness too here because of our land, and it's, as a winemaker, it's really nice to be able to balance the two and allow both of those express themselves too.
And the acidity is really nice on that.
It is.
Very
yes,
low.
I was very happy with
really,
the acidity.
really nice.
Yeah.
Great job on that, Sean. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
How much does that retail for?
It's $17.95 right now. So
Your wines are really reasonably priced.
yeah, probably too reasonably priced, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll tell you what. I mean, there is a philosophy behind that I've always stuck with, and that is that we want to over-deliver on quality. We really want the price-for-value relationship to be extremely strong, and that's been the philosophy from Penn Ridge right from day one. And so I think we over-deliver on quality, and I think that's a testament to why we're having a hard time keeping it on the shelves because it's selling so fast.
So stock up now, listener.
Yeah.
What would you pair that with food-wise?
Well, just recently, funny you ask, I paired it with we made a California style salad the other night, and it had strawberries and blueberries in there, and it was, we're not pouring it today, but I made a vinaigrette with a Cab Sauv ice wine, and it was really interesting paired with the Sauvignon Blanc. Yeah,
that would be good.
Worked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll always go with shellfish, oysters and half shell, all of that sort of stuff, fresh shrimp, you name it. It's a great seafood wine, but it's great drinking it on its own as well.
It is.
Well, I'm really impressed, and if that's the quality of 25s, I'm gonna go broke buying wine.
Yeah.
Because that is absolutely phenomenal.
Well, that's lovely. Thank you.
So now we're gonna move back to 24, right?
We are, yeah. So we're going to take a step back to 2024, and Norm and I had discussed this previous, but it had been a while since we made a Fume style Sauvignon Blanc. So we kept a little bit back and put some in some brand new American and French oak barrels, and selected carefully, and just watched the life cycle in the barrel. And then I think you and I sat down and had a chat. And we thought it was ready to come out of barrel, and it's worked out very nicely for us.
Again, Sean hit it out of the park with this one. We actually were the first VQA winery in Niagara, I think, to ever do a Fume Blanc. Back in 2003 was our very first one. And I think Craig McDonald over at, I think it was at Creekside at the time, did one in 2004, 2005. So we were a couple of years ahead of Craig on that one. So it's funny, we moved away from it as well. Sean really brought us back to the way we traditionally made it, where he did sun barrel fermentation, and I think that's really paid off in the quality of this wine. It's a lot more work for the winemaker to go through all that trouble, and there's risks involved with stuck fermentations and things like that. So, yeah, Sean really knocked this one out of the park. This is going to be a super award winner as well. I can't wait to get into some of the competitions like the Canadian Wine Awards. I know it's going to do very, very well. And, limited production, only, several hundred cases, and priced actually extremely reasonably. I've poured this for a number of my wine colleagues, and they all think they're all a little bit nervous that we probably don't charge enough for it. But we can always raise the price. I'd rather go that way than the other way around. But it's a brilliant wine. We're excited about it. It's really right. If I hate to say I have a favorite, but I got to tell you right now that wine is probably one of my favorites.
And what is the price on it?
$24.95 right now.
Are you kidding me?
Mm.
That's crazy. And just for the listener, when we talk about a Fume Blanc, why the name Fume for it? What is it, because of the in barrel?
Well, yes, exactly. It's really, I believe it was Mondavi in California that coined the phrase. That's right. Hey, Sean. Of course, you can't adopt any of the French terms that are all protected. In the Loire Valley, it would be a Pouilly Foussé or something like that. So Robert Mondavi came up with Fume Blanc as kind of the equivalent to a oak-aged Sauvignon Blanc. And so we've chosen to use that. Like I say, we started in 2003, made our very first one back in those days, and made a number since then. But and I'm glad Sean and myself decided to go and dip our toe back in the water on this one, because I think we're back. We'll make it now every year, or every other year, for certainly depending on the vintage.
It's really nice because you can taste the barrel in that.
Yeah,
it's got that little bit of vanilla.
The Fume part is the toasting, really. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the direction of it. But like Norm said, we did half of the batch in a barrel fermented, and then the other half went into new oak that was barrel aged, and then we went back and forth with regards to the different types of oaks that we used and the different levels of toasting that I had worked with certain coopers. And the integration was right there at the beginning, and I think that's got quite a few more years to go, and I think the evolution is going to bring it to a really interesting spot.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it really is a special wine for sure.
Honestly, I would have expected like that to be a $44.95 bottle.
Probably should be, but again, we like to deliver on.
It's the spill the wine discount.
We like to deliver on quality. So that's what we're all.
You're
about.
really doing a great job, because I think your wines are all really, really approachable. They're really full-bodied, just nice flavors, and price point wise, fantastic. And so many times people think, oh, I'm going to come to the Niagara region, it's going to be so expensive. But you can get great wines here at a great price.
I think Niagara, generally speaking, not just Peninsula Ridge, generally speaking, I think we over-deliver on quality in Niagara. We're a region, and 25 years ago, it was pretty hard to get people to drive up the driveway. Many of the folks remember the wines that we were making here in the 70s. I do as well. My first inclination was not to invest in Niagara, because my recollections of wine when I was growing up here, as a young adult, were wines that were made all from indigenous varietals like Labruscas, Niagaras, and Concords. There's been a remarkable transformation in this industry over the last 25, 30 years, really led by some pioneers like Paul Boss Sr. and Don Zeraldo and Len Penichetti and the Speck brothers. And, those are the ones that took the chances in the beginning. They kind of paved the way for folks like me to come along and winemakers like Sean that now had an opportunity to experiment in a serious way and continue to elevate the bar to where we are today. The other thing is you go to Napa Valley now, and it's a very, very expensive proposition, both from a tourist point of view, or if you want to buy a bottle of wine or two, it's gotten very, very expensive. And with the American dollar, ridiculously expensive. And even the tourism experience, if you want to go to a winery in Napa now, open up your wallet because anything you do there now is going to set you back a pretty penny. We're still pretty good value here in Niagara. And I think make for an equal or better tourism wine touring experience.
I think so too, because I have friends that recently went to Napa and they said it was really expensive and they didn't like the wines.
Well, the wines are still pretty good in Napa. I can't. I'm not going to throw them under the bus on that.
No, but they said for them, they weren't the wines that they wanted.
Really?
But it's also people that don't know the region are always surprised at how great the wines are.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Yeah.
So if you live in the Toronto area and you haven't been here, if you live in the States, wherever you are, you've got to try Niagara wines because they're absolutely spectacular. Yeah. And we've tasted some great wines here so far.
Well, we got a couple more to go.
We're going to start with a Pinot Noir, which is one of my favorite wines. So I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, it was
Do tell, Sean.
Okay, 2019 was a lovely year. I think it was actually a very good year for Pinot in the region and in the industry. This particular Pinot Noir is from one of our proprietors' vineyards, the McNally Vineyard Pinot Noir Reserve. It was fun. Pinot Noir is a tough grape for winemakers, very finicky. And everything kind of came together at the end. Harvest was, it worked out that it was nice, dry, and hot, and all the levels were, falling right into place. And yeah, I'm very happy with it. Yeah.
Yeah, Niagara's doing a phenomenal job on this varietal. It really is special. I mean, the climate, I think, is they call it the heartbreak grape for good reason. But the climate here in Niagara, particularly on the bench, I think is very conducive to growing Pinot Noir because we do get that cooling effect during the really hot, humid summer days that really come off the lake and get trapped up along the escarpment here. So it's a perfect place to grow it. We have a very large block of Pinot Noir growing at, as Sean said, my partner's property just next door, just off of 30 Road. And the fruit there it's really, really super high quality. Pinot Noir, though, generally speaking, I think right across the entire peninsula is making just some wonderful, wonderful wines. And I think also on top of that is we're learning as winemakers how to deal with some of the many nuances that Pinot Noir throws at you as a varietal. So that experience over time, over 25, 30 years now, is really helping, I think, winemakers reach sort of the pinnacle of the Pinot Noir winemaking sort of paradigm. So very exciting time for Niagara, I think, generally, and for us. We make two different Pinot Noirs. This is like I say, an estate-grown Pinot Noir from property just next door. We also do one that honors some of the raptors in the area, the birds of prey that the Niagara Peninsula and the Niagara Escarpment are very well known for. And this is we do name one after the falcons in the area, so we call it Falcon's Nest Pinot Noir, and that's more of our entry level Pinot Noir that's priced a little lower than this one, but still the same degree of high quality.
You mentioned how people refer to Pinot Noir as a heartbreak grape, and could you explain a little bit for the listener why that is?
Well, I'll let Sean do that. He's the one that's constantly heartbroken by it.
Yeah. No, it's a challenging grape. It's if you start with the fruit, it's very thin skinned. So if you come into some any sort of challenges with regards to weather, Pinot Noir is going to be the first one to let you know that you might want to pick earlier.
So it is one of the first ones that you harvest, right?
It is an earlier ripening, yes, that I've found. Again, it's dependent on your style and what style of wine that you're intending to make. With this particular one, we did a little bit more maceration, so skin contact. With the Falcon's Nest is more of a lighter bodied, a bit more approachable. And again, barrel selection is always really important for winemakers as well. And with this particular Pinot, we really went from one end of the spectrum to the other. So we have new American and French oak barrels to 10, 12-year-old barrels that are still involved in the program.
Wow, love that. Did you have any issues with this wine? Was there any trouble with it, since it is such a heartbreak grape?
No, I think we did everything right. Harvest is a crucial time for winemakers, and bringing in your grapes at that time of the year becomes quite stressful because of all the challenges and the pressures that you're receiving from all ends. And if you can really narrow in your picking dates with Pinot Noir, it can bring you to some really nice places. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's the price on that one?
The McNally's, I think, $29.95.
Again, for a Pinot Noir of that style, that's a really nice price.
I could be wrong. Could be $34.95.
One thing I want to add is something actually we talked about just before we started the recording is, like you mentioned, Falcon's Nest and how it's a tribute to the birds of prey, or like the raptors you were saying. One thing I just wanted to add into the podcast, just so it's there too, is that there are bald eagles in this region or this area. I had no idea. Like, I knew about red-tailed hawks and peregrine, like the fastest bird, bird in the world, but I had no idea that there was actually bald eagles here, which are massive.
Yeah, this is the number one migratory route for birds of prey in the region. The Niagara Escarpment acts as a natural convection zone, so that as these birds of prey are migrating from the south across Lake Erie, they're pretty tired by the time they get across that lake, and they're looking for every advantage they possibly can. So they get these warm convection currents off of the escarpment, and you see them, particularly in the springtime, you'll see them soaring. They don't flop their wings for 20 minutes, half an hour, because they pick up those convection currents and really can glide for very, very long. And they pick it up here in Niagara. They take it all the way up north, up through Milton, up through the escarpment, all the way up to Tobermory. So it's quite remarkable. You can literally sit out in the front porch here at the winery and watch them go by for periods of hours. It's pretty stunning.
What's the season? What's the time of year that you'd see them more often?
Starts in April, runs right through the end of June, really. There's a beautiful Beamer Point's famous for an organization called Niagara Hawk Watch. They do bird counts constantly throughout the year. We have been a major sponsor for some of their educational programming over the years. They do a wonderful job. And Beamer Point's a really a beautiful place to go and visit. It's on the Bruce Trail in Niagara Escarpment. And they have a viewing station there that's elevated up about, I think, 20 or 30 feet, where you can go up there and literally just watch them go by. It's quite a remarkable.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That's cool.
I would do that. But I could also sit on your patio and drink wine and watch them fly by. So,
Yeah,
do both.
Yeah.
I mean, like we were saying too, the drive up is awesome. Like it's such a grand presentation to the land and the facilities here, or like the buildings, I should say. But yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, you feel like she's just some music playing. It's like da-da.
Every day.
Sure.
Every day.
It never gets old, right? And then the drive down is also cool when you leave, because you've still got the vineyards all around you, and you can see the lake, and it's just...
That's right,
Yeah. When you're driving up, you see the lake in your rearview mirror, but when you're driving down, you can see the lake ahead of you, and it's just absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
perfect place for a winery.
Yeah, and it's just the right distance from Toronto.
That's
Yeah.
right. I often wave to my friends across the lake. And yeah.
Go like, hi,
Yeah.
I'm drinking wine. How
That's
about
right,
you?
Yeah. Or even my coffee in the morning.
But it's
Same
also
thing,
true if you're
lovely.
coming in from Toronto, it's like, before you hit the rest of the wineries, you can pop off here and, have a little break. And
Well, we're kind of like the first premium winery on the I shouldn't say that. There's certainly
'Cause
some other
Leaning
ones
Post
that
is-
are, I was going to say,
yeah.
there's Leaning Post and a few others that are kind of in front of us, but easy to get off the highway. We're literally a kilometer from the QEW exit. I think it's 68 off Bartlett Avenue. So yeah, if you get stuck in traffic on your way to Niagara Lake, this is a perfect place to stop and kind of recharge your batteries before you take on the stop and go traffic across the Garden City Bridge.
yeah, right, de-stress, and then actually don't even get on the highway again. Just take King Street and just go visit a ton of
Well,
wineries.
my colleagues down in Niagara Lake may take
That's right.
exception to that, but certainly we'd love
Hey.
to have you here as long as you'd like to stay.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna try one of my favorite years.
The last wine actually is something we've been making right from day one, and it's a very unique blend. We call it Arcanum for people that are wondering what Arcanum means. Arcanum is the recipe to turn lead into gold, and it goes back to the 16th century when the great kings of Europe were all doing whatever they possibly could to try and find alchemists to come up with this recipe to turn lead into gold, so that they could become very rich and be able to feed the coffers of their kingdoms. So that's what the Arcanum is. The Arcanum is that recipe. So it's a bit of a play on words around that. And this is a 4 varietal wine. And it's unique really because it's a Bordeaux blend with the subtle addition of Syrah.
Oh,
And of course, Syrah is not typically a Bordeaux varietal. So it's Sean, correct me if I'm wrong. This will be a blend of Cab Sauv, Merlot, and Cab Franc with a secret amount of Syrah in it. And we keep the recipe secret. We don't make it every year. We make it when we believe we're into the best red wine vintages. And who knows, 2025 will probably be a year that we want to think about making our next bottling of Arcanum. But Sean, you can speak more to the specifics of the winemaking.
No, you're absolutely right. 2025 is looking like it's going to be the next year for Arcanum for sure. Just a lot of the fruit has really come along nicely. Dark, very rich, a lot of weight to it. But 2020 was also a very similar year to 2025. With regards to changing lead to gold, it's that kind of concept and idea is brought into the cellar. When I'm selecting the barrels for the Arcanum, there's a mystery side to it. So as we're tasting through our sensory assessments, every once in a while you'll come across a barrel that just really gives you some really uniqueness. And because there's no recipe to it, it allows me as a winemaker to select out of the 4 varieties that Norm mentioned, but the best of the barrels, and then blend back and have some fun with that. So it is definitely a fun wine. However, there is some seriousness to it. And, usually I say we would push it 5 to 7 years once it's hit its peak.
Sure. Yeah, it's well made and really well made to age too, and really a beautiful wine, very unique, and a great food wine as well.
Yes.
There's no question about it. Red meats, lamb, rack of lamb, or just a juicy steak.
Yeah.
That's what this wine's all about. So
making me hungry.
I know.
I have to say, it's got a beautiful color. It's just such a dark purple. The clarity on it is beautiful. It's nice and clear, but just really, really nice. I got a little bit of pepper on the nose.
Yeah, like Norm had mentioned before, that being able to play around with a bit of Syrah in the blend is makes it exciting, and it allows for me to layer everything from the Cab Sauv, Cab Franc, with a little bit of Syrah, and of course Merlot for 2020 was just a big wine, and so it led the kind of led the charge, and then be able to throw in some little unique flavors from the other varieties. Really,
what's the
really
predominant
helpful.
wine in this one?
It's Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, so it's Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Syrah, and then actually Cabernet Franc is only 16%.
That's really cool because it's
fun.
like kind of a meritage kind of thing. But most of the time when people do meritage, Cab Franc is very prevalent.
Yes.
So
correct.
this is really cool because you're mixing it up. And
That's right.
you can tell that it's got such an interesting taste to it, but still very full-bodied.
Yes, very much so. And I think it's evolved actually better than I was expecting. It's really hit that interesting part in the life cycle in the bottle.
And I think the Cab
fun.
Sauves in this area are very underrated.
I agree.
Yeah. And I think we've got beautiful Cab Sauv grapes, and it's nice that you're putting that forward here.
Yes. Look out for 25s, because even my peers, they've got some fantastic wines out there. So 2025 is going to be a lovely year for sure.
Yeah.
Harvest is always a very unique time, like I was saying before. Once you've got through the growing season, the harvest is where winemakers really kind of make their mark. As far as I'm concerned, picking dates and going through the primary fermentation process, and then making it into barrel is quite a fun time of the year. For sure.
Yeah, because we were supposed to speak in November, and you had a late
Oh
harvest.
my goodness! yes, it was a very unique year for both whites and reds. A bit challenging at some points, but I mean that's part of the fun of our occupation.
Did you? And you do ice wine here, right?
We do, yeah. We've got sparkling, whites, reds, ice wine, and we also do fortified wine as well.
Wow.
Which is unique to the industry. We make a ratafia, which we didn't try today, but it's made every 3 or 4 years.
Is that like a brandy?
It's like very similar,
like a port,
yeah.
kind
it's
of?
very, very similar, yeah. It's around the 20% alcohol mark, but very much a digestif or aperitif, if you wish. I think Norm has mentioned it's very much a cigar wine as well, which is fun.
Yeah. Well, I don't smoke cigars, but if
No,
I did,
nor do I. But
be great for a movie shoot, right?
You're missing out. You're missing out.
yeah.
And this is the beauty of this podcast, as I get to appreciate wine even more by speaking with people like you and Norm, and just actually finding out so much more about Peninsula Ridge than I actually knew before.
Yes,
Like, I love the history of the restaurant.
it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Norm has done an incredible job.
Yeah. You can see the passion is just there.
Yes.
And, the fact that you've been here for so long and this land so well just lends so much to the art of winemaking.
Yes, I'm very lucky. Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad we could finally pin you down for a conversation.
Thank you.
Because it's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you. Yeah, same here. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a while, but well worth it. So thank you for this opportunity, and it was really lovely meeting you both.
Likewise.
Yeah,
And don't be strangers.
We won't be. Well, I live just down the road, so
That's
I'll be
right,
here quite often, especially to watch the Hawks. Maybe I can get Lukas to come out and we can sit and hawk watch together, which would be awesome. And also, of course, drink your fabulous wines. So, listener, now you know you can come here for food. Amazing, like top-level gourmet food at the restaurant. Cheese here in the winery. Beautiful wines all around. Peninsula Ridge has a gorgeous view. It's a wonderful place to go. We will have photos on the show notes, so you can check those out on the website. You can check them out anytime you're looking at the podcast on social media. We are on Facebook, Spill the Wine Podcast, and on Instagram, Spill the Wine _podcast. Be sure to follow us, to like us, to make comments, tell your friends, tell everybody you know to like and follow us. And you'll find some really, really, really cool stuff. You can also email us if you have any questions about the podcast. And it's contact@spillthewine.ca. And if you're planning a trip to the Bench area, you got to make sure that you stop here because you will not be disappointed. I would just like to say thank you so much, Sean. Thanks to Norm, who's not here now, but thanks for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure, and cheers.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Here's to next time.
Thank you.